3 months, it gets
Get on the
old.
roller coaster like a million
Yeah,
times,
exactly.
perhaps.
It gets old after a while.
I've heard that everybody that I've talked to has lived in Vegas said they hate the Strip. Like,
Yeah,
they
they
hate
never
going
and they
to
never
it.
go.
Yeah.
You're just never there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they'll only go there if somebody from out of town comes in.
Which
And
makes
it
sense.
happens a lot of times when
Yeah.
you live there.
Which
Yeah.
makes sense
Also,
because we
like
stay
the
there.
most expensive Starbucks I've ever been at.
In
Is it
every
Las Vegas?
casino.
Like it was so expensive. Like I got like a cappuccino and something else, like a muffin or something. It was like $14
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Love
Vegas
those
prices.
Vegas prices.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This shirt looks good.
You're
Not
looking at
better
yourself,
than this one.
admiring yourself.
Look at that.
All
No,
right,
mine does too, actually.
let's.
Camera's looking good today.
All right, everybody, just take a good look at themselves.
Yeah,
and
right.
Just really enjoy it. Yeah, okay, we've got them. Yeah, you're getting Mexico into my shot here, Juan. That's what's happening with that.
I know. I'm doing it on purpose.
All right, I think we're coming in live. So, hello everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast here at Digital Trends, where we talk about the trending tech topics of the day and a lot of other things. And we have a ton of stuff to get to today. So, not only being a podcast, we're also broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. So, you can join in the conversation on there. And we've got a lot of stuff that we want to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your opinions on what we're going to be bringing up. We're going to be covering everything from obviously some World Cup talk that we'll be discussing today. If you're watching live, you can see that's clearly what we're going to be covering. We're also going to be talking about E3, some of the best games from E3. We'll touch on a few of those. And our expert Juliana was down there, so she's going to fill us in on everything that went on with that.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to be covering the AT&T and Time Warner merger, which really is going to affect. It could really affect you. And in case a lot of people don't know, we'll kind of run down some of the things with that. And we'll talk about Apple trying to circumvent anybody ever being able to get access to their phones. They've got an update that's going to be coming out. We'll tell you about that. So let's introduce our cast of characters, though, here first. I'm Greg Nibler, and to my right, wearing the wonderful Mexico shirt here in honor of the World Cup. I wonder who he's rooting for. It's Juan. Hello, Juan.
Belgium, obviously.
Thank you. This is Trend with Benefits World Cup edition.
Sure.
Oh, that was a pretty good voiceover for it, actually.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to
You
put
got
that
the
in the
radio
beginning.
voice over here,
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So, and Juan, just for anybody who doesn't know, what do you do here at Digital Trends?
I am the editor-in-chief of Digital Trends en Español.
Excellent. And to your right.
I'm Rick Stella, the outdoor editor for Digital Trends in English, I guess.
Yeah.
That's right. You have to specify. That's right.
Rick, who are you rooting for in the World Cup? Since obviously there's no American team because,
Yeah, there's no American
you know,
team. So my European soccer team is Liverpool, and the striker Mohamed Salah is on Egypt, so I'm rooting for Egypt. Sort of a dark horse contender.
So it's going to be a quick out for you.
It might be a quick out, especially with Russia winning 5-0 today, so
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. And on the end, booing already. Ladies and gentlemen.
Colombia. I say we. I'm not Egyptian at all.
It is Juliana. Hello, Juliana.
Hi, everyone.
And Juliana, it's hard to tell. Who are you rooting for in the World Cup?
The yellow team, Colombia,
yellow
of
team.
course.
Yeah.
They might have a shot. What do you
Yeah, they
think
got a
the
good
actual
squad this year.
Yeah.
They have a good squad this year, Colombia.
Yeah.
They don't have a shot.
Okay.
No,
They don't have a
you
shot.
don't have a shot.
By the
We don't
way,
have a
the end
shot
of the
either.
show, it's a Mexico versus Colombia arm wrestling match. That's going to happen
nice.
here.
I don't think
on
we
this.
play each other even if we reach the finals. I don't know.
Even if
Yeah,
you
I
reach
think,
the
I think we're
finals.
not having a match, like not even in the second
No.
round.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our topics though, because we have a lot to get to, and I'm already seeing some comments coming in. So the question that I put up to start off with has to do with Apple, and it's going back to a lot of things that we already knew about, where law enforcement has been trying to figure out ways to get into iPhones, particularly in whatever the case is. And my question is, should Apple allow that or not? And it's kind of a broad question, but I think it's an important one. And the main reason I'm bringing this up is because Apple did announce that there's going to be an update to the iPhone software that is now going to disable the Lightning port after 1 hour after the phone is locked. So essentially, an hour after it's locked, there will be absolutely no way to import or export any data out of the Lightning port. And just so you didn't know, in case you didn't know, you could before. So now it'll ruin that, so where the only way you could unlock it is either with Touch ID, Face ID, or the PIN code. And that's the only way you'll be able to unlock it. So if you do have the phone, you'll still be able to charge, but no data can be transferred after that point. And that's their way of getting around any of these third-party apps that different people have bought from random unknown places that have been able to access that. And so I guess just with my main question here and seeing this as the comments come in, there's a lot of people that are saying no, Apple should not allow law enforcement access to iPhones. What do you think, Juan?
I disagree.
You disagree? You think they should allow access
Let's
to
go
it?
back to the San Bernardino
Yes.
case.
And that's when the biggest one.
Yeah, I don't understand. And I love Apple, by the way, for the record. I love Apple. I love all the products, everything. I love them. But I think in this case, I'm wrong. When you talk about law enforcement and terrorism and all the things that really can affect our lives. I mean, why not let law enforcement, maybe not in every single case, but on a few important ones, decide to get, not decide, but give the law enforcement access to the iPhone. That could be, isn't that the Las Vegas shooter is still a mystery? What happened there? I don't think an iPhone will solve that, but it could be a case where a telephone,
Yeah.
give us clarity about a particular case.
And so where do you draw that line then?
That's the thing. Where's the line?
That's a never-ending conversation.
Yeah,
Because I can tell you in the live chat, as far as the comments coming through on Facebook and taking a look at some of the other ones
But
as well.
as far as
most
Apple,
people are saying no.
As far as
they're
Apple,
in a disagreement with
there's
you.
no line, right? As far as Apple is concerned, there is
Right.
no line. You say where we draw the line.
Right. Their line
now,
is-
Apple.
But where would you draw the line though? Like terrorism? Because if you
The San Bernardino, I think, is pretty clear cut.
so what about the Vegas one that wasn't classified as terrorism?
That's
You
the
know,
thing.
but
It's a
that's
tough
wrong.
line.
Of
to
course,
draw, and that's-
I think that's wrong too. But then where do you
wrong.
draw that line?
Yeah,
and this is
I
a complete political debate, not a tech debate. But
Right. But I think it matters to all of us though, because data privacy, especially this year, has been a huge concern. If you look
Right.
at Facebook, Facebook alone with what's been going on with them, and that is the thing. Where's the line for data privacy? Is there a line? And judging on these, let's see. Edward says no. Our communications are already monitored. Scarlett says if there's a specific reason to need access, then request for that specific iPhone. If it's a criminal, I get it, but we pay for these phones, and privacy is important. Period. So, and I think that's it. It's where's that line drawn? And Apple's just saying nobody. There's no line. Just nobody gets access.
I think a better question would be that even if Apple said, "Hey, we are going to not compromise your privacy, but make it like a little bit not as secure and private," would you still buy the iPhone? And I think a lot of people still would, even by giving up that privacy.
Right.
And just because we're given the opportunity to debate here whether or not we want this, if Apple came out and said, I think similar in a way that Facebook did, that was like, "Hey, we are going to give your information out. You cannot use Facebook if you don't want to," but people still use it, right?
Right.
And they're still like, "Fine, you can have our information."
Yeah.
And I think people would still buy the iPhone in droves like they do now.
Right.
Even by
if you
saying,
want an iPhone, is that going to be enough to? Well,
Yeah.
Juan, is that enough for you not to buy the iPhone? If say they did.
No. Actually, I don't have any plans.
I guess that's right, because
I don't
you
have
don't-
any plans to kill anybody.
Well, that's
Although,
true.
I don't know if the conversation gets heated. Who knows?
Right,
You
right,
know.
yeah.
But no, I'm kidding. Of
I
course.
agree
but
with
no.
Juan on this.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
You don't mind that
Yeah.
they would have access to it
I don't
in
care.
that kind of thing.
I don't do anything, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't care either. If you're getting into the nitty gritty of drawing a line on when to go in and when not
Right.
to, then it just gets really confusing. Pick one or the other, like they're doing here. They're
Yeah.
picking one.
They're picking one.
And they're just
going that
shutting it
side.
off completely. So,
And Edward brings up a good point. He said, "But we don't pay for Facebook," and that's true.
It's very true,
the
yeah.
deal with
That's
Facebook,
true. Right.
That's how
you
they make
opt
their
into
money.
it on your own.
Yeah.
But I think I would probably agree with you guys too. If you need it for evidence or for something to allow you to make a large scale be it an arrest or anything
Yeah.
like that, it's definitely necessary and
Yeah.
important to have that information if you take good care of it. I like the requesting access to it as well too.
Yeah.
Going through the proper channels to get that information or that data because you need it for a very specific reason.
Maybe a judge can decide that on a case by case
Case-by-case basis.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
A
yeah.
judge, not okay, this guy,
Right.
committed a crime. Give me the
Which
access.
goes to
No.
your very specific instances. You have somebody presiding over whether or not they're going to let them in, which they tried to do with San Bernardino too.
yeah,
it
they
took
did.
it to the
They had to buy
Supreme
some
Court or something. Yeah, right.
third-party app from some unknown developer
Right.
somewhere.
Well, first
Yeah,
they
had to
asked
do it.
Apple, and
Yep.
Apple said
Yeah.
no, and then I think they sued them or something.
Yeah,
and
they
they
went to the
found this
government, yeah.
company, and they said, never mind,
Right.
we got him.
Yeah. It's a lot to talk about. I know we have a lot of stuff to get to today on the show too.
And
but
I
think
think it's
an
important
debate.
to point out they did not find anything on that some version in the
And
phone.
that's why it's just a slippery slope. When you start to say yes
exactly.
to one thing, you're going to create precedent that's going to just be a like landfall for so many other things that come after it and could have come before it
true.
as well too.
Yeah. Brett's saying, I want an update that makes the device impossible to hack or give viruses to. I mean, well, this update would make it pretty impossible once, after that hour that it's been locked up to get access to it, according to Apple anyway.
Even before this, weren't Apple devices secure enough to not get many viruses anyways too?
Yeah,
right? That
I
hasn't
would
really been the
think.
issue, right? It's
Yeah,
just
I don't
about
think
getting data
viruses
from
have.
someone's phone who they don't want you to get in, or
Yeah,
they don't
or they don't
have
want
the
you to have
ability to say
access.
yes to. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big debate, and again, there's lots of things to talk about with this, and I want to keep on seeing your comments. We do have some other things to get to, including another one that has to do with that could change a lot for a lot of people, and it has to do with the big merger that was just approved between AT&T and Time Warner. So if you don't know the details of that, I mean, these are huge companies, huge conglomerates. AT&T obviously being provider of internet and telephone service, a huge provider, and Time Warner being a content producer. These merging together, and in case you don't know, Time Warner, has HBO, 10% stake in Hulu. I mean, a massive
Turner.
amount of
CNN.
CNN,
Fake news,
all the Turner
CNN.
networks. Warner Brothers Entertainment, DC Comics. I mean, they own a lot, and now AT&T is going to have control of that. So they not only have a large control over delivering content to you, they have control over the content producers itself. And with net neutrality going away, this could be the example that we've kind of all been talking about, where they could say, all right, you get HBO for this speed, but if you want to watch Netflix, that we don't own them, it's going to be slowed down. They could technically do that. They've said they're not going to, of course. They all say they're not going to. But I mean, ultimately, these are corporations that want to make money, and it's a really quick way to slow down your competition if they decide to do that. And it's being allowed to go through, and if this happens, I think we could see more and more of these giant mergers. Juliana, how do you feel about this?
I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
I think no one likes it.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I don't think you'll find one person who goes like, "Oh, it's great. Like I cannot choose whatever I want to see because it's gonna be slower and like buffering all the time." I mean, no one would like that, right?
Right.
And one big thing is like how, I mean, like at the end, there's gonna be like 2 or 3 companies, and that's it. There's no diversity on like what you can get. I mean, you think you're going to a different company, but at the end, it's the same one that owns a ton.
Right.
So like, at what point are and we're getting very political again, but how much should we allow like these
it's one of these
companies
things-
to be as big?
I
Because
hope-
they're becoming like monsters.
I hope my AT&T friends are not watching.
I would think that the one good thing about there being only 2 or 3 big companies is that that's less like other companies for them to throttle the speeds for.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only thing for like one unified or like 3 big things that like, Netflix, HBO, and like all these other ones could be owned by one company, that meaning that like, they're not going to throttle everything.
Let me take the AT&T side, which again, nobody.
This is for Juan's AT&T
No,
friends.
yeah, which is, by the way, is in Dallas. I mean, the headquarters.
Meanwhile,
in
this show brought
Dallas.
to you by Verizon.
And, yeah, of course. And I live in Dallas,
Yeah.
if you don't know that. So I have a lot of friends there. They explained to me one thing. Think about it. We're doing this because we want to compete with Netflix, and we have no other way to compete with Netflix
So you
as
short
far
Netflix.
as doing original content.
Right.
This
They have a
is why
long
we're
way to
doing
go.
it.
Then HBO tried to do that too, and they
Right.
barely can keep up. They don't even keep up with
Yes.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Hulu can't even do it.
No,
you know?
that's one of the reasons behind that. It's a 2-part. Net neutrality, that's one thing, and the merger. In a general sense, it's not good for the consumer.
Yeah.
We're also dealing with billions of dollars, only by getting a few subscribers here and there too, which is a lot of money. And like you're saying, if you can see billions of dollars making or losing, you're always going to choose make.
Exactly.
And so you're
Yeah.
always going to do that
Yeah.
one little extra thing to either that's not going to help the consumer, but it's going to make you money at the end of the day because you need to appease your shareholders and you're like,
And
who's sitting on the board?
Right.
One of the things that I like to point out, that I've been a customer of both, as far as cable TV, and I can say one is the worst and the other one is the best. Not necessarily the cheapest one, and I mean AT&T probably more expensive, but they're good. When something
For
goes
cable
wrong, they're there.
Really?
They help you. They fix it. They make sure everything it's correct. I mean, at one point they had to do some work outside my house, like in the on the line outside.
Yeah.
And they say, we're gonna send someone this afternoon, and I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
As
somebody
opposed-
was there that afternoon.
As opposed to like
Time Warner,
Comcast?
oh, we're going to see you next week between 7 and 7, and you better be home.
Right.
I mean, that's how Comcast does it too. I think that's how a lot of people
Yeah,
do
so
it.
Right, they set up
I
the time.
hope, at least with this, Time Warner would take
Well, so are you saying that you trust AT&T not to do it?
No, I hope Time Warner. I mean, I hope AT&T makes Time Warner better. At least as far as the service.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the silver lining, is what you're saying.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, because they have the power to do that. Take a look at just a couple of comments on this. It is a heated debate on here as well. Matt is saying they say they aren't going to slow it down, but we all know they will. And that's the thing. I just, with that temptation right there for a company, I really.
But that's a different topic,
money,
isn't
yeah.
it? That's net neutrality. I mean,
Right.
That's,
But I mean, that's what I'm talking about with the merging of these.
But your
Anybody
HBO,
can do
your
that.
HBO
Yeah,
Netflix
I mean,
analogy was
Yeah.
perfect because
Yeah.
you can stream all the Game of Thrones you want in 4K, but you want to watch Netflix. Well,
Right.
you're going to get that in 1080p. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or it's going to
Okay.
buffer
Or
forever.
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
pay more.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you want
Exactly.
the premium package.
and,
Or,
like Comcast just make a bid for Fox yesterday. I
Yeah,
believe.
they did.
The ink wasn't even dry on this merger,
Yep.
and you know
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh shit!"
And they're going to be fighting Disney.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Easy, yep.
that's going to be billions and billions of dollars that they're going to make off of that one, too. But it's another thing where it's just getting smaller and smaller, these big companies that really control a lot
One
of
of the
things.
things that it's affects, and I have lived that, for instance, is the airline mergers. I mean,
Yeah.
you get a point that you have no choice. I live in Dallas. I have no choice to fly American Airlines. And I cannot say it enough. They're the worst. If you hear me, you are the worst. So there's that.
All right. Well, so we got that to get. Anybody else you don't like?
Just the one.
A lot of
hating
people.
on- you and Caleb would have been perfect on this show, just hating on shit together. You know, don't even get me started.
All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff that to get to on
Follow
this
me
show.
on
So
Twitter to, hear the soap opera
Oh
I have
my
with
God,
American
all the
Airlines.
time.
Just at Juan Garcia, right?
Yeah, I will see DTES.
At
DTES, Juan Garcia DTES. See his real thoughts, his unfiltered thoughts on American Airlines, right
Oh,
there.
my God.
All right, with some more things that we need to get to as well. Let's talk about E3s because E3, what was? I mean, I guess it's still going on. Is it actually wrapped up yet?
It started on Tuesday.
Started on
actually,
Tuesday.
But all the conferences started
They've
on
already-
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got a massive amount of coverage at digitaltrends.com on E3, and there's been some pretty exciting things that have come out of it. And we talked a little bit about this last week, but some of the games. I mean, let me just ask you, Juliana, because you were down there.
Yes.
What is it like at the floor of E3?
It is crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
since
it's
they
just-
opened to the public,
Yeah.
I know that before they were not open to the public, but now they are. And it's just like a massive amount of people. Like, you cannot even, like, walk.
Really?
You cannot even, like, stand somewhere because people would, like, push you to get
Like
through.
worse than
Like,
CES?
yeah, I was gonna say.
Like similar?
Kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
CES.
Okay.
About the same.
Yeah.
So you have all the game, the game Yeah, I guess you have the console makers. You have, everybody who's making games, and they all have giant booths. I imagine it's probably a lot of sensory overload, like way more than CES, with a bunch of flashing lights and loud noises, whatever can get you into the booth.
Our game is
Yes.
louder.
Yeah,
We're going
our
to pump
game's
it out into the
louder.
crowd. Yeah.
Our guns are the loudest.
yeah.
Well, what I enjoyed the most was seeing how different the booths were between each other. Like
Really?
the Ubisoft one was like really like black, and then like Ubisoft in white. It was like really simple, and then Nintendo was like red everywhere. So it's like really like the branding in the back.
Really?
And you get to see like all different like booths and stations for the video games to get your hands on, but the lines were too long.
Yeah, out of
I
control,
did get the chance to try some because some of them, like Bethesda, they had like a special area for journalists to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when you're a journalist, you don't make any lines.
But even in years
No,
past,
sometimes I had to at some points, yeah.
and in years past, I mean, it's been this crazy at E3 before without the public, and so they let the public in. I think that's why they started over the weekend, though, too, right? Was to kind of drum up interest for the public, but then to get journalists in there for the press conferences before anyone else,
Yeah,
right?
well, so for example, there were press conferences on Saturday, but that was EA Play, and they had like hands-on there, but it was like open to the public as well, and you had to get in line with the rest of the people.
By the way, nothing is worse than CS. Okay, let's
Yeah.
Let's just set that straight right now.
Nothing is worse
Right.
than that show.
Another thing Juan hates. All
What
right.
was your
Yeah.
favorite game you saw?
I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed.
I've heard that
I like open world games.
Yeah.
But that's
so
me.
do
I don't like shooter games. I'm so bad at it. I don't have good aim.
Yeah, shooter games, anything to play online against other people, I'm terrible at. I just end up getting...
Which is so big right now, like the Fortnites and the PUBGs of the world right now are just so massive. But I know we gave our best game of the year to Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
which
is
I grabbed
open
if you're
world,
watching
but
live. I've got
But
shooter,
we
but we
still
didn't
don't
know
know.
gameplay, right?
We still don't know how the gameplay is. All we have like is a bunch of graphics and kind of like what the game will be like, but there's no really like gameplay yet.
And I hear that nowadays also big watch people play video games, isn't it?
We have our own stream.
My son
Nice plug.
does that all the time. Like it became an spectator sport where you watch someone play video games.
I feel like it started with, a long time ago with people playing StarCraft, like competitively, and people watching people play StarCraft, but it really blew up with like Minecraft, I feel like. Kids watching people play Minecraft for hours, and now it's like
huge.
It's a huge business. We have our own stream here at DT every, I can't remember what
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, and Hanif and we'll stream for a couple hours, just playing whatever new game is. And
it's very successful.
Yeah. People love watching people play video games. It's
More
insane.
than this?
I mean...
Yeah,
More people than this?
No, not more than this.
It's just terms of benefits, Juan. We're gonna cut that out of the final production.
Exactly.
People like huge proponents of it equate it to like watching sports. Like we like to watch the World Cup or anything. So it's like if you like to watch your favorite athletes play sports, like why not watch your favorite athletes play video games?
Yeah.
I can see that. That's how I know more about gaming than a lot of my coworkers, because I used to sit by my brother and watch him play video games for like 4 hours, and I'd be like, "And what are you doing there?" And then he would explain me or not.
Yeah,
because
probably not.
Like,
Yeah. He gives you a controller that's not plugged in. He's like, you can play with me.
No, he used to be like a PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
PC gaming?
Yeah.
When I talk to my son and he's playing and I interrupt, oh my God, that's...
End of the world.
End of the world.
How dare you?
Well, we're taking a look here at just too, because we do have the E3 coverage. So that's all at Digital Trends. You can take a look at Best in Show, like we said, Cyberpunk 2077. We've got all kinds of different rankings: best visuals, best new IP, best new feature. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go through, and luckily Digital Trends had a whole crew down there at E3 to cover all of it, and it's fun. I still have to go through and catch up on everything.
And there was a lot of it. I think every year people like to bash on E3 because it's like the cool thing to do, right? But I feel like I've seen a lot of takes from there that this was one of the best E3s that they'd had in a really long time.
It's a cool show.
Yeah.
A lot of good IPs, a lot of original ideas, and that it's like kind of headed in the right direction.
Also, Forza Horizon 4 was really cool. Yeah.
Nice. For Xbox only, right?
Yeah.
I think that's an Xbox
I'm not
property.
sure, but it's on Xbox.
Yeah.
And the new Spider-Man, it takes place in Manhattan. It's like open world.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
Well, you can check that out all at Digital Trends and take a look and catch up on everything there. All right, we've got just a little time left, so we need to talk about World Cup. And in particular, a couple of things with it. Talk about the World Cup technology, but also you two have been working for months probably on your series of articles. Maybe we can tell people about those.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
I think, and this is an initiative by Juliana. Juliana has the World Cup fever before I did. And she's been talking World Cup for about the last 2 months, if I'm correct.
I think more, perhaps.
Yeah,
Three
day,
years,
World
11
Cup,
months,
World
whenever the
Cup,
last
World
one ended.
Cup, World Cup, yeah. And I was like, I thought I was a big soccer fan, but this girl is bigger than me about that. So yeah, we have a lot of articles and the Spanish side, a few on the English side. Rick and I work on an interview of the makers. Well, not the makers, but the
software company behind the NFC chip that's implanted in the balls.
Yeah.
Now he has an NFC chip in here that you can unlock stuff.
So we should talk about that. So the official ball, and this is a replica that you have in your hand.
This is the official ball
of the official
match
ball,
ball, yeah.
of FIFA and or for the World Cup 2018. And that's what I want to talk about is just some of the technology and how that's changed, over the years. Now with the NFC chip in there, embedded in the ball that you can get yourself. What kind of information does it register? What are you getting with the
So it's
NFC
purely
chip?
consumer based. It has no impact on the game itself. So we're not looking at like goal line technology or anything like that. But
right. But if you have this ball,
and you can see the chip is going to be located. It's like right here, a little FIFA thing. If you can see that.
If you're watching the video,
you can kind of feel it. It's not all the way pumped up. Yeah. So you'd scan it with any other NFC scanner on your smartphone, and it's going to unlock a series of challenges. Okay. And every few weeks or every week to 2 weeks, new challenges will open up that you either will have you take a photo with the ball, will unlock specific World Cup content, be it videos or photos of the teams participating, other people using the ball, like the athletes that are participating as well. So the official match ball is made by Adidas, and then the software company that we interviewed is called Blue Byte, and they are the ones that had designed the software to be implanted in the NFC chip that's built into the ball.
That's
here.
actually,
and we need to tell everybody that this ball can be yours if you want.
This exact ball.
We are giving away this ball.
And how can people? Well, actually, we'll talk all about the giveaway here at the end because I want to make sure people stick around and find out a little bit more about that because that ball is awesome.
Like, tell us when we're out of here.
Yeah.
You guys have way more World Cup stuff than we do on your guys' side. And you're going to Russia in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there in a few days. Very excited about it. And it started today, the World Cup. If you don't know, Russia, I think, beat Saudi Arabia 5-0.
5-0, yeah.
It was a good game. It was a good start for the World Cup. Obviously, we're gonna cover the World Cup from the tech standpoint. Okay?
Yeah, from the tech side. And that's what,
it's
talking about the ball here, with that, with the NFC chip side of it, like what other tech is different this year?
The first time it's going to be broadcast in 4K.
So it will be broadcast in 4K?
Yes. Maybe not every game, not in every market, but for the most part, yes.
But some of the marquee matchups.
Yeah, will be 4K. First time, I think you need to have either DirecTV. I think Dish is also doing it here in the state.
And a TV.
Yeah.
I got the Dish.
and a 4K TV. We may add.
What about VR? There's some VR capabilities going on this year?
I don't know if that's
Fox has it. Fox has some VR.
And DirecTV in Latin America.
Yeah, DirecTV Latin America. It's doing something in VR. That you can use. Also, we saw a very cool thing that we have on the side where you can do the game on, I guess it's augmented reality on the HoloLens that you can put on a table.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too. So just to cover that too, if you're wondering where to watch World Cup, Digital Trends has it all covered as far as everywhere that you can stream.
In every language.
Yeah,
we just posted
everything
a streaming guide of where to watch it. And
how to cover it. Everything that you want to see on it. But I like this idea though of different ways to watch the game. I mean, 4K is cool. The virtual reality option, and I've talked about this for a couple of years now.
With college basketball and NBA, we've talked about this on a lot of shows and how it does. It sort of simultaneously gets you into the game while removing you from your immediate environment a little bit. We talked about like sitting on the couch and being the only dude in there with like a VR goggles on. Like, the hell is this guy doing, Yeah. But it does. I mean, it takes you field side or court side of like any of the biggest matches or games. And that's unprecedented access if you've never sat courtside or field side at anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it really does. And the more, the better and better, that it gets as far as resolution, the more it feels like you're actually there. And Fox, from what I was reading, I guess for their VR app, they're going to have a seat in some of the stadiums, so you can join up with your friends. I guess you can
have like 32 angles, 32 different angles or cameras,
that you can switch around from.
You can switch so you can watch the game, from wherever you want to watch.
Yeah.
My favorite part was how I think it might have been the college basketball one, but with the audio that you would have, you could actually hear people like behind you yelling and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You'd like look and they're up there yelling.
Some
and
guy yelling at a player.
Yeah. But it's like behind you, which is just funny. But
and there's that. As far as as far as the virtual reality side of it, but I think what you were bringing up, Juan, is this idea where we're not quite there yet from a consumer standpoint, but some people at University of Washington have been working with the Microsoft HoloLens, which is they're the augmented reality glasses that someday supposedly we'll be able to get our hands on as far as the public, but right now it's just in developers, and then there's even another version that's going to be coming out pretty soon. But they're using that, you put on these glasses, and the way they showcased it is essentially you'd have like a flat table, and you lay down a piece of green felt, and you can watch the players in holographic action playing the actual game. So it's like a 3D version of these players, or at least that's where it will get, in a miniature version sitting on a table, and you can sit there and watch it from any angle you want. Walk all the way around the table, get really close to it, probably zoom in, do all kinds of different things, and they're showcasing how they're able to do that. Right now, they're just using YouTube videos and FIFA.
All it takes is a YouTube video. I guess you process it somewhere in some software, so it has to be like short. Otherwise, it takes a lot of time. So for now, it's just gonna be like highlights, that you can do. But then you move around the table, so you get the different angle.
Yeah.
I would like that way better than VR, I think.
Yeah, I think
I would too.
Like, it would just make it way more interactive. I would feel.
If we can make a whole live game like on this table
Happening
That
right
would
in front of
be-
you, you know?
That would be
Yeah.
so
So
cool.
Everybody running down to one end of the
Yeah.
table to see what happens. Yeah, I mean it's
That would be
that-
so
You can get
cool.
different angles on shots and everything too. You know, like you can watch the same goal from all different
replay
angles.
it and yeah, I mean that kind of thing is just I think it's
Probably
mind-boggling where it can go.
in the World Cup of
In 8 years, yes. In
2026.
8 years.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's
debut
gonna
the
be
HoloLens
here.
ready.
Which
Yeah.
is when North America's going to
I
have
would
it.
just sit at my desk and like set the field up outside where like the roof of the building is next door, a huge field.
What
Like,
is
it's
Rick
work.
looking at?
Of course, if he's gonna be here, you have to go.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Exactly.
it's nothing. I mean, as virtual reality, all you want to talk, it's
Yep.
nothing like being there.
Well, not all of us are getting to go to Russia on.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, that's awesome. So you're going there on Sunday,
On not this Sunday, then
Next Sunday.
following Sunday. Yes.
and so you'll be doing, I'm sure, reporting and
Yeah,
flying
yeah,
all kinds of things there live.
we've been having behind the scenes of all the technology of what it takes. You watch the game in 4K. Well, what it takes to get the game from there.
Oh,
to
that's
you
cool.
In 4K, virtual reality as well. You know what it's gonna take, what is taking place because it's already happening.
Yeah.
To get the game to you.
Which I
Very
think is
cool.
kind of cool because you watch sporting events on TV all the time, and I don't think viewers really understand the scale of the production
What it
that goes
takes,
in, what
yeah.
it takes.
I think they did, and yeah, actually, it's the same company. You did something with the Masters, you know,
Uh-huh.
and from DirecTV. Well, you know, DirecTV is taking me now to Russia, so it's kind of the same thing, you know. How to watch the Masters in 4K or
Yeah.
all the text to get the
Right.
4K feed into the stream. So it's similar to that. We're gonna be doing that.
Very
Cool.
cool. And so that's follow all of that on Digital Trends Espanol and
ES.digitaltrends.com.
ES.digitaltrends.com.
You just put an ES before Digital Trends.
There we go. So follow that. Now, real quick before we end, how can we win this ball?
It's a simple giveaway that we're having in the Spanish side. You go there, you enter your name, your basic information, and we're going to give this away. The lucky winner will have this ball in his house, and he can play. You can
The one
hold
that
up.
Juan has right
This
now in his
one,
hand
this one,
can
yeah,
be
this is
yours.
You can
the
swipe,
only
his,
one
you can
we
swipe
have.
his fingerprints off of it and everything.
I will clean it before I send it. Yeah.
We're giving one away on the DT side as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we're giving away
Okay.
two. So one from DTES and one from Digital Trends.
Two chances
Two
to win.
chances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two chances to win. Yeah, so enter both of those and share it amongst your social.
This is,
friends and
you're going to
channels.
feel it, but it's so cool.
It's pretty
so
cool. It is a really cool
It's-
soccer ball.
It's really, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time not kicking this around in the office
Yeah.
because it's so good.
And
But
it's not cheap. You can go onto Adidas' website and look.
it's not cheap.
No, it's like 120 bucks.
So it's 125 on sale. It's
Yeah.
$170 total.
Wow.
But it's 125 right now on sale because the World Cup's just starting
But
right
it's
now.
worth
That's
it.
a
Oh, it's
pretty
worth
good
it.
price.
Worth it every penny.
And this is the
Tell you
real.
that.
This is the real exact match
This
ball.
is-
Pump it
yeah.
up to like its
That's right.
proper PSI, and you'll have the same ball that they're using in Russia.
That's cool. All right. Well, so go there, enter, and try to win that. And thanks everybody for tuning into Digital Trends as well. So, as usual, we do this show, Trends with Benefits, live every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. But we're also a podcast, and we want you to subscribe to that podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts at, hit subscribe on Trends with Benefits, and that way you make sure that you get it every week. And every week, it's different topics. We love the interactivity. If you can tune in live, that's always a ton of fun. You can always email us, podcast@digitaltrends.com. And I think that's it. All right. So I thought we were supposed to have an arm wrestling match, but
oh, yeah.
I don't know. If that's...
Viva Mexico! Before we go.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode.
We
have you
kind
on
of
again.
already knew that was going to happen anyways.
Yeah, right.